coil wires from the distributor cap. Loosen the two screws that hold the distributor cap to the distributor. We remove the rotor. Then we disconnect the two wires coming from the coils to the condensers. And with one hand on the points and one hand on the condenser housing, we bring them up out of the distributor together and lay them to the side. We put a couple drops of oil down the center distributor shaft and a couple drops on each one of the weight bushings. And then we rotate the shaft back and forth to work the oil in to keep things from getting rusty and dry. Next, we put a little bit of grease on the outer hook for the big spring that slows the advance down just before it comes to a stop. We wipe the distributor shaft clean of all the old grease and the carbon that comes off of the brushes in the distributor cap, and we put a thin film of new distributor lube on the shaft where the points ride. Don't put too much grease, it can sling off and get in the points, so it's just a thin film all over the shaft. Then you make sure that the ground wires connected to the bottom of the condensers are still tight and connected. Then you place the points and condensers back in the housing, keeping them together as they go back down in the distributor, just like that. Then to put the rotor on, place the rotor on, turn it clockwise until it snaps down in place. Just like that. When putting the distributor cap back on, as you get down close to the distributor, align the screws with the holes so that you don't accidentally kick a brush out of the top of the distributor cap. Then tighten down the screws that hold the distributor cap to the distributor, not too tightly. The plastic can crack if you make them too tight. Then we connect up the condenser wires. The blue wires are supposed to go to the B1 and the red wire to the B2. And then the coil wires, the blue wire that's on the coil that has the blue wire has the high tension lead that goes to the distributor cap where it's marked B1. So the wires marked on top of the distributor cap, the high tension wires B1 go with the same coil as the condenser marked B1. We're using a dwell meter which does not have a 3-cylinder scale, so we're putting this dwell meter on a 6-cylinder scale, and we will be looking to read 42.0 to 42.2 degrees dwell. If you have a dwell meter with a 3-cylinder scale, then you would double that and you would be looking for 84 degrees, 0.0, 84.2 degrees dwell. In order to hook up the dwell meter, you need to ground it to any piece of metal. We'll ground it to the battery ground cable. The coil, one coil will have a blue connector which is supposed to go to the B1 on the distributor condenser. The other coil, the B2 coil, will have 2 red connectors. One goes to the condenser on the distributor, the other one goes to the tachometer inside the car. So in order to read the dwell on the B1, which is the bottom points, we can connect the dwell meter to the blue terminal. And then once we have that adjusted properly, then we can switch over to the B2, the upper points, the top points in the distributor. It's best to get the car up to running temperature when you adjust the dwell. The dwell meter is connected to the B1 coil, the one with the blue wire connector. You insert the key in the hole and rotate it around until you feel it engage. And then in order to bring the dwell number down, you rotate the key counterclockwise. To make the dwell number bigger, you rotate it clockwise. Once you rotate the key and you get the points to read 42.0 or 42.2, then you rev the motor slightly to kind of stabilize the points. The key will sometimes move the points up or down and the dwell might change. This is holding at 41.8, so we'll bump it up just a hair more. Disengage the key, rev the motor a little bit, and it's bouncing between 42.0 and 42.2, so that one's perfect. Okay, now we're going to move the connection from the B1 coil to the B2 coil, and you adjust the B2 points by going to the upper hole. Same thing, very gently rotate the key around until you feel it engage into the points. Don't push hard on it. Disengage the key. Rev the motor a little bit to stabilize the points. So we've got a perfect 42.0, 42.1, 42.2, dead on. So now we're ready to check the ignition timing. To check the ignition timing, we hook up the timing light to a 12-volt power source. You can pick it up on the back of the alternator or the circuit breakers on the front of the left fender or on the battery. Ground the timing right. Connect the induction pickup to the number 1 spark plug wire. The hole to read the timing is in the bell housing below the clutch master cylinder on a 5-speed, almost straight down from the distributor. Be sure to clean the flywheel so that you can actually see the PMH mark, which is 0, and the 5-degree mark clearly. Then loosen the clamp on the bottom of the distributor and rotate the distributor to put the 5-degree mark in the middle of the hole. You should always check the accessory shaft to make sure the flange bolted to the primary shaft coming out of the engine is tight. You get a hold of the shaft back near the flange and see if you can detect any movement in the flange or the flex plates. And of course, visibly inspect the rubber coupling on this end and make sure that all the bolts are tight.